Hi, hello, vanakkam, and welcome back to yet another episode on everyone's favorite Little Sla YouTube channel. So today we're going to see about the UI performance testing, the very first day of this UI performance testing series. We're going to see a lot of tips, tools, real-time hands-on techniques with UI performance testing. But before that, I must really thank one of our subscribers for asking this question, where um, the subscriber has asked that can we have a video on how to measure the UI performance testing and tools we can use. Yes, we're going to see that today, and this is the starting point. So thank you so much for asking this question, and there are many other questions that's been answered, and even about the Dynatrace with LoadRunner. Yes, I'm planning to have a training session on LoadRunner with Dynatrace, and regarding the mock interviews, yes, I'm planning to have the mock interviews. For those who are interested, please do reach out to me in LinkedIn, or you can reach out to me in WhatsApp, or even you can comment your email ID. We can discuss about the mock interview session, and then we can have it. For now, let's move on to the Lighthouse session. I'm really sorry, the UI performance testing session. So I welcome you all. Please do watch the entire video. Thank you. So firstly, let's start with uh, a quick introduction. So myself, I'm Vasant Shanmugam, and today we are diving deep into UI performance testing, a topic that can make or break your web application's success. So if you ever wonder why some websites feel lightning fast, say for example your Amazon, your Apple websites, any other major websites, no matter what, some of them will be really lightning fast, while others make you want to close your browser tab. And this episode for those who just feel that it is something that I have to close the tab. I don't want anymore to use it. So this episode is for you. So we'll cover everything from basics to hands-on testing. So make sure to stick around until the end where we will actually test performance live. So don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you find this helpful. And let's get started. And the first slide is what is UI performance testing. So let's start with the very fundamentals. What exactly is UI performance testing? So here if you see, the UI performance testing is the process of measuring and optimizing how fast and smoothly your user interface responds to user interactions. Yes, so it's how fast and how smooth your user interface responds to user interactions, and it's not just how quickly your page loads, though that's important, but it's about the entire user experience. And talking about the next item, so think of this way: UI performance testing measures how quickly your UI elements, that is your user interface elements, load and respond. In fact, it evaluates the rendering performance, that is the page rendering, so the rendering performance and even the frame rates. And that's how smooth your animations and scrolling feel. So this tests user interaction responsiveness when someone clicks a button, or how quickly does something happen, and most importantly it identifies any bottlenecks and optimization opportunities. So far we saw about the definitions and purposes, and now we'll move on to why it matters. Okay, but why should you care about this? Well, the numbers don't lie. Yes, so the user satisfaction directly correlates with the performance, and there is a direct relationship between how fast your application is and how much your user enjoy using it. So here you can see a statistic that might shock you, because every 100 millisecond of delay costs you 1% of drop in sales. And that's not a typo. 100 milliseconds, yes, it's 100 milliseconds, and that's barely perceptible to humans, but it has a large real business impact. And coming to mobile users, yes, especially they expect instant responses, so they are used to native apps that respond immediately to their touch. And here's something many developers don't realize: Google considers performance in the SEO, that is the search ranking. A slow website won't just frustrate users, it will hurt your SEO too. So SEO is just search engine optimization too. So just to show you about, just to give you a quick look at the statistics, these 50 3% of users that you see here will or have abandoned the sites that take more than 3 seconds to load, and that's more than half your potential audience who are gone in like 3 seconds. And there is a 7% conversion drop for every 100 milliseconds delay. So to put this in perspective, if you are making 1 million a month, 100 millisecond could cost you $7,000 monthly. And for smooth animations, you need to hit 60 frames per second, which means each frame has only 16 seconds to render. And if you miss the target, and the user will notice that there is a sluggish, there's a jankiness. So the overall impact, companies will lose $2.6 billion annually due to slow websites. That's billion with a B. Yes. So performance is not just a nice to have, it's a business necessity. And let's now move to the second slide real quick. So now that we understand why performance matters, and let's talk about how we measure it. So there are 6 key metrics. For the normal performance testing, we might have seen response times, the throughput, hits per second. So same way we do have, CPU memory utilization, right? So for the UI performance testing, we need to take care of these 6 metrics. That is first up, which is first contentful paint, or we call it as FCP. And this FCP is the measurement of the time until the first piece of content appears on the screen. So it could be a text, it can be an image, or even a background color. Users want to see something happening immediately when they visit your site. So a good FCP is under 1.8 seconds, while anything over 3 seconds is considered poor. So now you know what is the SLA, right? And then moving to the second point, which is the largest contentful paint, or LCP. This measures when the largest content element is fully rendered, and this is usually your hero image, your main headline, or a large block of text. So this metric is crucial because it tells you when the main content is ready, and you want this under 2.5 seconds, and if it is more than 4 seconds, then it will definitely frustrate the users. The third one, which is the CLS, the cumulative layout shift, which is different in terms of, like, it actually measures the visual stability. That is how much the elements shift around during loading. So when the page loads, there will be element shift that happens without even we know that. Okay, you know that annoying experience where you're about to click a button and suddenly the layout shifts and you click on the wrong thing, and that's what CLS measures. I definitely had this experience. I was about to click something and it moved, and I was clicking on something which I was not supposed to click. So it happened. So again, a good CLS score is under 0.1. So which is before you even know that it is moving, it has to move, right? And the poor response and the poor cumulative layout shift is like 0.25. So you have to measure all of these, and that's how the SLA stands still. And then the FID, the first input delay, which measures the time from when a user first interact with your page, clicking a button, it can be tapping a link, so to when the browser actually responds. So this is crucial for interactivity. Users expect responses under 100 milliseconds. Anything over 300 means it is sluggish. And then the time to interactive. So time to interactive, or TTI, tells you when your page becomes fully interactive, and it's not enough for content to be visible. Users need to be able to interact with it reliably, and good TTI is under 3.8 seconds, and over 7.3 seconds is poor. And then finally the speed index. The speed index measures how quickly the content is visually populated, and it is like a movie of your page loading. Speed index tells you how quickly the movie progresses. So under 3.4 is good, and anything over 5.8 needs to be worked. So all these metrics work together to give you a complete picture of your user experience. You can't just optimize one. You need to consider all of them. Yes, all of them. You can't just, okay, you can decide that, okay, I just go with FCP, or I will just go with the LCP, or just FCP and LCP. It's not like just that. You have to consider all these metrics, and going forward, you have to keep this in mind that there are other multiverse in terms of performance testing. Yes, and that is UI performance testing, and these are the metrics. Never ever forget this. And moving on to the third slide, which is the testing tools. Yes, the question was there, right? So the subscriber wanted us to discuss some of the testing tools. So in fact, in our entire episode of series, you're going to see about Lighthouse. So again, it's a Google's open source tool for measuring the web page quality. So we're going to use Lighthouse, its CI/CD integration, and much more is in pipeline. So talking about this one, the Lighthouse. First is Lighthouse, which is a Google's open source tool for measuring the web page quality, and it's completely free, and it will give you performance score along with specific recommendations, and you can run it right in Chrome DevTools. Yes, you can even run it through command line, or even you can integrate it in your CI/CD pipeline. So all this is what we're going to try. We're going to test, and it checks the performance, the best practices, the accessibility, and even the SEO all in just one go. And then the second one, which is the web page test. So web page test is amazing for real browser testing. Unlike other synthetic testing, this uses actual browsers from different locations around the world. You can see exactly how your site performs for users in different countries with the different connection speeds. The waterfall charts it generates are incredibly detailed, and the video capture feature lets you watch your page load frame by frame, and I really love this tool. And then the third one is the Chrome Dev Tools. Now the third tool, the Chrome Dev Tool, and this is built right into your browser, which is incredibly powerful. The performance tab lets you record and analyze everything that's happening during page load, and you can see the CPU usage, the memory consumption, the network request, and even identify which JavaScript functions are taking the most time. And it's like having a microscope for your web page. And then the fourth tool, which is the most commonly used tool, which is the GTmetrix, which is excellent for ongoing monitoring. In fact, while other tools are great for one-time testing, GTmetrix can track your performance over time. So that's why I told you, like, it's been used in a large quantity. I mean, it sends you alerts when performance degrades and provides historical data so you can see the trends. And this is crucial for maintaining performance in production. Yes, so they are used mainly for production service. And then the Playwright. Playwright is a game changer for automated testing. In fact, we're going to see about Playwright as well. So it can test your application across Chrome, the Firefox, and Safari, and it includes built-in performance metrics. You can write tests that simulate real user journeys while measuring performance at each step. It also handles mobile testing beautifully. And then finally to Cypress, yes, end-to-end testing. So Cypress is another fantastic end-to-end testing framework, and it's particularly developer friendly with features like real-time reloads and time travel debugging. You can stop the network request to test how your app performs under different conditions. So now before we move on to the next slide, let me give you a quick summary. So the key is using all these tools together. So Lighthouse for quick audits, web page test for real world scenarios, dev tools for debugging, GTmetrix for monitoring, and Playwright for our Cypress for automated testing. So yes, now you might have understood, like, it's not just a simple thing to learn. You have a lot of things to learn, and you're going to have a great learning curve. And now moving on to the fourth slide, the performance testing process. So now you know what to measure, which tools are you going to use for measuring, and we must know the performance testing processes, right? Without that, it's if you do not have a plan, what are you going to do with that? So now let me go with the first thing, which is the defining of the performance goals. This is again a 6-step process which is followed across all the organizations, and I use for performance testing. I personally use it. So this is not just theory, this is exactly how I approach performance testing in real projects. So the first step is defining the performance goals. You cannot improve what you don't measure, and you can't measure without targets. So I typically set the LCP target under 2.5 seconds, the FID under 100 milliseconds, and the CLS under 0.1. So these are not just arbitrary, they are based on user research and business requirements. So this is not just I have given just as write up. They are, again, I'm telling you, they are like based on user research and business requirements. So for e-commerce sites, I might be more aggressive, and for content sites I might be a little more lenient based on these numbers. And then the second part is choosing the right tools, so choosing the testing tools. So this depends on your specific needs. So, and for rapid prototyping, I might just use Lighthouse. For comprehensive testing, I'll use Web Page Test. And for ongoing monitoring, GTmetrix. And for automated metric testing, I'll use Playwright or Cypress. So the key is matching the tool to your specific use case. So now you know which tool to choose. Um, Again, let me reiterate, for rapid prototyping, you have to use Lighthouse. For comprehensive testing, you have to use Web Page Test. And for ongoing monitoring, you have to use GTmetrix. For automated testing, Playwright or Cypress. So the key is, again, matching the tool to your specific use case. And the step third, which is creating the test scenarios. Yes, like similarly, like for a functional, non-functional, automated, we have to even create test scenarios, and this is where many people go wrong. They only test the happy path. Yes, even I do that. But what after practice, like I started to create realistic user journeys that include things like slow network connections, users on mobile devices, and users in different geographic locations. So I test both the first time visitor experience and even the return visitor experience as well, which gave me a lot of insights on how the performance of the application in terms of UI. And now the fourth one, which is executing the test. So this is where the rubber meets the road. Yes. So I run tests across multiple network conditions like 3G, 4G, Wi-Fi, and even offline scenarios as well. And I even test on different device types as well, like high-end phones, budget phones, tablets, desktops. Even geographic location also matters. So a user in a rural Montana will have a different experience than someone in downtown San Francisco. Yes. And then step. The fifth step is where we start talk about the analysis and optimization. So this is where the detective work begins. And I look at waterfall charts. So we all look at it to identify the bottlenecks. Are images too large, or is the JavaScript blocking rendering? Are there too many network requests, or is there any common optimizations that include resource optimization, code splitting, and implementing proper caching strategies? And then the sixth part, which is the monitoring and maintenance. So performance is not a one-time fix, it's an ongoing process. I integrate the performance testing into CI/CD pipelines. I set up performance budgets that prevent regressions and use automated alerts to catch issues before users do. And regular audits help me to maintain the performance over time. So overall, the most important thing to remember is that this is a cycle and you don't do this once and forget about it. Yes, we all know that. So performance testing is an ongoing discipline that needs to be built into your development process, your deployment process. And finally, the last one, which is the hands-on exercise. So I'll just quickly take you through it. So before I end, I'll show you quickly how to uh, do this UI performance testing using CLI. And for that, you need to have the NVM, and I'm having 1.2.2 version of it. And in case if you want to download it, you have to download it from here, the uh, NVM Windows releases, and under this download, if you're in Windows, just download NVM setup.exe and install it. It's just a normal process. And once you install it, you will get to see the environment variables like this one. Let me just quickly show it to you. So if you go to the path, let me just quickly get that. So after you install it, once you go to your environment variables, you should be able to see the NVM home and NVM syslink, which is a confirmation that your NVM is successfully installed. So that's step one. And once you install it, come back to the command line. And here I have the command. And in this example, I'm going to just run. And yeah, again, a few tips I will say, I will tell you. So make sure that you install the NVM install latest, and this will install the NVM in your machine, and then make sure that you're using the NVM, the latest NVM. So I'll in fact give all these commands in the GitHub page for you to follow. So starting from, you have to install the NVM, and then you have to download and install basically, and then you have to use the latest and make sure that you're using the right version of it. So when I check the node versions, I'm using 24.4.1. And then the next part is make sure that you're using the right version of your Lighthouse as well. So again, the command for installing the Lighthouse, so let me just give it to you. It's npm install and -g Lighthouse will install Lighthouse for you. And once you install it, once you install nvm and the npm, so the next command is to run or to test the google.com. So I'm using, it's just a basic example which we can run it through CLI command. So when you run this, you get to see a browser that is getting loaded on the right side, as if you can see it. So it does everything, that it does it automatically. So it cleans the origin data, it cleans the browser and everything, and it starts to audit the metrics. So every metrics that we need to collect, the LCP, the largest contentful paint image, the largest layout shift. All these are the metrics that we discussed, right? So these are the metrics that will be automatically created. I mean, they will be rendered from the page, the website that we wanted to test, and it removes the duplicate models in JavaScript bundle. So every single thing, every single item will be audited. The single item will be like fetched from the page. And yeah, there are some errors which I will fix it, and then it's not just a major issue. It's just a minor issue, which is kind of a permission issue, which I'll fix it and then I'll get back to you. But this here is how it works, right? So I believe you would have understood what I did so far. And in fact, there is one more thing I believe which we can try and test it.